Hello and welcome back to our final AI edition of Standard Room with Breakfast, where I'm joined by Howard Phung from HPAI Consulting. If this is your first time with us, be sure to check out the earlier chapter. Well, I think we're moving to our final chapter where we will be talking about AI's future state, right? And we already started to talk a little bit about it, but a bit of a thought experiment. So imagine it's 2030 and artificial general intelligence has finally arrived, right? We've got access to human or superhuman intelligence for free pretty much everywhere we need it. And a lot of the toolings have evolved to make good use of it. You book and stay at a hotel. How will AI would like all of these capabilities have transformed both the guest experience and what is happening behind the scenes in terms of operations for staff and the revenue teams and so on? And is there anything that hotels can do today, like preparing for that type of future, right? Which might be closer around, like if you can trust the pundits from OpenAI and so on, it might be 2027.
By 2030, I think the guest experience will feel almost like effortless. Like AI will be probably doing most of the heavy lifting at a hotel. Like it'll be quite invisible to the guests, but when you book for like a voice assistant or a chat interface, the system already knows your preferences, room types, and even preferred check-in times and amenities. And if you've got loyalty connected, it will even provide you all your loyalty perks. So when you arrive, you won't have to check in at your desk. Even when you phone, it will recognize you for your phone ID. So, it knows how to really interact with you with the voice AI capability. And so, what will be really interesting to see is your wearables and your phone will automatically be detected when you get to the hotel to unlock your room, to like consume F&B or any type of services. That frictionless experience will be possible because of the way that AI can detect quite quickly, and then provide that personalized service. Probably behind the scenes, I will see some pretty sophisticated AI forecasting tools, rise. Rostering, maintenance optimization will be quite interesting, right? A lot of times, maintenance of a hotel is quite manual currently, but with kind of surfacing your entire hotel to be connected and for Internet of Things, IoT, connected everywhere, your building will be as one, and it'll be optimizing quite differently. So, if you like certain room temperatures and certain lighting, it also would detect that by 2030. So for hotels to really prepare on this technology and start building, it's all about the foundation, right? Making sure your data is connected, choose the interoperable systems that's future-proof, and they have a clear vision around how they're going to integrate generative AI. And mostly important is the change management. Train your teams alongside with AI, not against it, because once you have a bad experience, that kind of puts you, you're taking 5 steps forward, it'll probably take you 3 steps backwards. So you're kind of stuck in that area where you're not really innovating, right?
Mm.
So it's all about getting the future ready. It's coming. This technology, like trillions of dollars, is coming into this technology, hardware to software. It's all
Yeah.
about preparing.
I mean, the investments just basically tell a very clear story here, right? That
Exactly.
this is going to be coming. It's not just a bubble or something. And I think, irrespective of the specifics of that future, like investing in the foundation, making sure that you are ready also from a data perspective, infrastructure perspective, and that you take your team on the journey in order to get the most out of your team and the AI, I think is certainly make a lot of sense. I think it's something that we all need to think about. Staying in the future state, like how do you see it addressing that balance between like automation and tech efficiency and everything's going to be just as you wanted, but the human touch, right? That is obviously quite central to hospitality today and historically, and probably in the future as well. Are there aspects of that experience that should be human first?
Absolutely, right. Hospitality at its core is about people. It's about feeling seen, welcome, and cared for. So AI can make experiences smoother, faster, and even smarter, but it can't replace that genuine connection in hospitality. There are moments that should remain human, such as a warm greeting, empathy when something goes wrong. Last thing you want is a chatbot telling you they're sorry, right? You want a human being to tell you you're sorry and acknowledge and find a solution. Local stories shared by someone also is very important, right? We want a concierge that's telling, this what this hotel is about, what the city's about, right? The magic of travel. There's no album that can replace it, in my opinion. Even if you read it on paper on a chatbot, you can't feel it, right? So having a human being, just there's those tours that you get, human tours, like it's just so magical, right? When you travel in a very kind of iconic destination. So the
Yeah.
future isn't just about removing that human touch; it's about making room for it. AI should handle the repetitiveness, behind the scenes stuff, stuff that give the staff more time and energy to deliver those meaningful, personalized experiences.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, this is what I'm hoping as well, that it will actually make us more human and create spaces and time to be humans and connect with each other and have time for the storytelling that you say and so on. Because like today we are too much micromanaging computers and just spending time on the screen rather than looking into somebody else's face. And I think that will make a huge difference for hospitality and all of the professions in there having that time. So yeah, I'm very hopeful for the future there. But coming back to 2025, kind of to finish, you once famously said, if I could automate everything, I would. Just how far have you taken that philosophy to your own personal life? Like, you've got any examples here?
Yeah, I still stand by that, right? I definitely taken that into my personal life. I use automation for everything, like at the house, so like the lights turn on when with sensors, they turn off a certain period of time. I have a coffee machine that starts brewing at a certain time in the morning. So, when I wake up, I can just pour in my. I love a good long black. The temperature is preset. I've installed really intelligent aircon system. So on certain days of the week, it's set to a certain temperature. Particularly, I don't like anything above 25, anything below 20. So it's a beautiful mix, right? And having not to worry about your temperature in your house is a great thing. And I have solar panels, so I don't need to worry about too much about energy efficiency in terms of those temperatures. Um, so have I started like thinking about what other things I can automate in terms of like the next generation tech? I would say like when it comes to like holiday planning, I try to automate as possible. I'm not someone that can go to research about a certain country. I like to look at summarized content. So that's where ChatGPT and even Google Gemini has become quite game changing, right? They're leveraging people's experiences and kind of curate. So last year I went to United States, in Texas, and just having the ability to curate firstly a very generic itinerary, but then kind of providing my context around what I want to do, what I like, it really creates that personalized experience. It's all about that prompt engineering. It creates that very detailed response. And so that's awesome. Traditionally, it would take me weeks just to research on the internet. I've done that in the space of an hour, and it free up a lot of my time for my family and a lot of, most importantly, my favorite hobbies.
There's a lot of time goes into actually just preparing for it. But so the last question we generally ask is, when you go on a holiday, right? Where do you stay and how do you book? Now that you've got all of these tools, like what are the differences?
I mean, I love finding like boutique hotels with personality. I don't like those cookie cutter hotels where they just, just a very, very basic offering. So I look for something that has a bit of smooth tech enabled experience, like casting and web check-in. That's one of my favorite things. I love to experience other tech, the hotel's tech. I start by using like ChatGPT to help me explore probably destination based on my vibe. So like what I'm after, dig into the reviews. So I always look for. I said I don't look at anything below four, and so that gives me a kind of quite a unique list of hotels. I definitely use AI in the process where to compare locations too. Like I look at itinerary suggestions, help me optimize my travel routes. So like I plan the trip, for example, if I'm in right, if I'm in Dallas, for example, how do I get to this? Should I go to this location first? It can be quite costly. So I look at kind of like price comparisons. And once I arrive, I look at like what are the kind of cultural. aspects of those hotel and the welcoming theme. So it's quite different now. Like I look for a hotel that has a bit of attitude, bit of like unique culture. So it's more of an experience for me.
Personality.
Yeah, personality, exactly.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Howard. Like, if people want to connect with you and learn more about what you do, where can they find you?
I would recommend probably LinkedIn. That's the first recommendation. So look me up. I love to connect. I share a lot of great AI articles. I like to write a blog every fortnight about AI and generally how it's affecting the hotel industry. So I'd love to connect through there, and we can start a conversation. From the LinkedIn chat to really follow through on any types of unique things that you learned today.
Yeah, highly recommended. I'm subscribing to your newsletters and I'm on LinkedIn. So it's really, yeah, highly informative. Lots of food for thought. Well, thank you so much, Howard, for joining us on this podcast series. And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And I'm sure that
Likewise.
a lot of us here, a lot of hoteliers will have gotten a lot out of our conversation.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure.